And Friday night football returns to CreaTV Sports. From Yerba Buena High School in East San Jose, it's a West Valley Division matchup of the Blossom Valley Athletic League. The defending champs, the Falcons of Andrew Hill, bring an identical 2-4, 1-2 record into tonight's game against the Warriors of Yerba Buena. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kirsten Fairchild alongside David Kiefer. Thank you for joining us. Andrew Hill went undefeated to claim the West Valley title last year. Quarterback Jose Hasso returns to run the Falcons offense.
Well, Hasso is pretty much the quintessential high school football player. He's great offensively and defensively. And this is a Hill team that's short in numbers but strong in heart.
Yerba Buena was winless a year ago, but things have been different for the Warriors this season. Junior Jimmy Nooch has contributed on both sides of the ball, just like his counterpart Hasso.
Yeah, Nooch is really the player who makes the Warriors run, and this is a Yerba Buena team that is on the rise.
Last year, Hill beat Yerba Buena 65-13. Find out what happens this season when we return. It's the Falcons and the Warriors coming your way next.
CreaTV San Jose would like to thank Pacific Office Automation for their generous sponsorship of our coverage of high school sports. It's because of our sponsors that CreaTV San Jose is able to cover high school sports throughout the city of San Jose.
Spirit on display here at Yerba Buena High School. Welcome to coverage of the Blossom Valley Athletic League West Valley Division. I'm Kirsten Fairchild alongside David Kiefer. Thank you for joining us for Friday night football. Both teams 2-4 overall and 1-2 in West Valley play. Andrew Hill went 7-0. 8-3 overall last year. They won the West Valley title, facing off against Yerba Buena, a team that didn't win a game last year. Boy, what a difference a year makes. As David, Andrew Hill won the toss, deferred to the second half. Andrew Hill wearing their traveling white and black will kick off left to right. Yerba Buena in their all black with dark green jerseys, dark green numbers. Again, what a difference a year makes. Javier Guevara, the offensive coordinator for Yerba Buena last year, now the head coach at Andrew P. Hill. Yerba Buena is coached by Marco Osuna in his third year. The kicker, Rigo Cortez for Hill, will get things started as back deep is Jesus Madrigal and Kevin Hong for Yerba Buena. As we are about to get underway, and it's a squib kick picked up by an up man at the 22 and pushed forward until the 33 as Yerba Buena goes to work. They run the pistol offense. The left tackle is Sergio Manriquez. Gabe Flores, the left guard. Center is Isaiah De La Rosa. The right guard is Horacio Mendez. Mark Agate is the right tackle. Starting at tight end tonight is Orlando Cabrero II. The wide receivers are Kevin Bojorquez and Bellman Joldich. The fullback is Jorge Mota. The running back is Jimmy Nooch. And getting the start tonight at quarterback is Kenneth Guevara, the junior, as the Warriors go to work 1st and 10 from their own 34. Guevara out of the shotgun, sends Nooch in motion. And the handoff to Johnny Tew in at fullback tonight. Little gain as Andrew Hill opens up in this 4-4 8-man front defense. The defensive ends, Anthony Chum and Alexei Gurtowski. Julian Chambliss and Hilario Zuniga are the defensive tackles. The outside linebackers are Abraham Venegas and Javier Echeverria. The Mike linebacker is Jose Hasso. The will is Johnny Lee. The corner is Sherman Smith and Jesus Gomez. The safety is James Rodriguez. On 2nd and 10, going to the air. The ball is caught at the 38 and dragged down is Orlando Cabrera, the second, just shy of a first down.
Yeah, I'm eager to see this Yerba Buena team just for the reason they have a lot more depth than they've had in the past. If you look at their roster numbers, they're probably about twice as many players as Andrew Hill has. It just seems like a program that's always a really healthy way to build a program, is just to create depth first and then see what happens on the field after that.
2 receivers up top for Guevara. And over the head, the snap over the head. Guevara does not fall on it. Loose ball, and Hill is saying they've recovered, still waiting for the signal from the referee, and it looks indeed a turnover here at the 10:29 mark. And it was just a high snap that Guevara could not fall on.
And it looked like Yasso, who we talked about in the opening, was the man who recovered the ball. Sure enough, yeah, he was the man who fell on it at the 28-yard line. So great opportunity, and then he turns around and he takes the snap as the quarterback for Andrew Hill.
Jose Hasso now the quarterback, as you say, as Andrew Hill, they run the spread offense. The left tackle is Hilario Zuniga. Ranan Carrion is the left guard. Ruben Sanchez, the center. The right guard, Dewey Lee. David Higuerita is the right tackle. Hasso is the QB on 2nd and 8. The running back is David Doe as Sherman Smith in motion, but the handoff to Doe, and Doe a little zigging and zagging, still on his feet. So a healthy run for Zoe in the early going, and just rounding out the starters, Jesus Gomez and Alexia Gurtowski, the receivers. The other slot receiver in addition to Sherman Smith, James Rodriguez. 3rd and 2 for the Andrew Hill Falcons.
Yeah, Doe took a shot and he kept his feet, and it looks like the Falcons are going to be able to collect this first down.
As the running back as Hasso helped to his feet, and exactly that, a first down. 9:30 left to go in the first. Andrew Hill recovering the high snap deep in Yerba Buena territory. Hasso, 4-receiver set, sends a man in motion. The handoff to Alexia Gurtowski, and Gurtowski, a big gain up the middle. Good deception with this running game here in the early going by the Falcons.
Yeah, that looked like Rigo Cortez there, number 5 on the carry. And it looked like a little bit of kind of a misdirection play, and picked up some good yardage.
That's right, Rigo Cortez, the 5'11" senior, 190 pounds. As going to the air is Hill, and it's picked off, or did he drop it? Seemed to be a sure pick as the ball bounced around a bit. But after all that, it is an incomplete pass.
Yeah, he looked like there wasn't any kind of Hill receiver nearby to really make a play at it, so the Falcons got pretty lucky in that situation.
See this no-huddle offense by the Falcons. 3rd and 3, the ball on the 10, and the ball caught and denied the end zone. We see the grab by Alexei Gurtowski, but he was just stood up. So the touchdown saving defensive stand by a couple of Yerba Buena players.
Yeah, Damon Evans was the player who finally pulled him down just short of the goal line.
First and inches as Hasso runs for the end zone. Touchdown, Andrew Hill.
Yeah, the Warriors fell for the play action there, allowed Hasso to get the edge and score the touchdown. First blood for the Falcons.
Again, some great deceptive Deception to the running game as the kicker, Rigo Cortez. It's good. 8:30 left to go in the first quarter. Hill strikes first off the 1-yard score by the quarterback on the keeper.
Yeah, and it was the turnover that really created the short field for Andrew Hill. I mean, that was a bad place to have a high snap for Yerba Buena, and it really set the table for Andrew Hill to get the early score.
Andrew Hill, again, what a difference a year makes. Last year, 8-3 overall, lost in the first round of the Central Coast section, ran the table in the West Valley League, but then late in the year, in the school year last year, the football coach left, the athletic director exited the school. The current head coach was not hired till late July. A number of key players transferred to other schools. As fielded by the up man at the 18. Still on his feet. And then a lot of running as it's Jose Pepe Rodriguez, Jimmy Nooch. A lot of east to west running by Nooch.
Yeah, James Rodriguez with the nice tackle in the open field to prevent what could have been maybe a long run back if Rodriguez had not been there.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Warriors 26. As in front of their homecoming crowd, they will try to leave the miscues between the center and the quarterback behind them that happened on the previous drive. Trailing 7-0, the handoff, the sweep around the end. Room to run and more, as you see kind of the straight up running from Jesus Chuy Madrigal, the senior, with the first down for the Warriors.
Yeah, he wasn't even touched until he was 10 yards downfield. Some great blocking by the left side of the Yerba Buena line.
Yerba Buena, coached by Marco Osuna in his 3rd year. Really happy with this year's squad. Again, went 0-10 overall, 0-7 in league play last year. Going to the air once again. High pass, and you see the great coverage from Hill. The corners have a lot of speed as Nooch.
Yeah, Sherman Smith with the laid the wood on that one, but the pass was a little high and really left his receiver exposed on that play. That was Jose Pepe Rodriguez.
So just a 1-yard gain off the completed pass. As ball spotted at the 46. 2nd and 9 for Yerba Buena. Nooch in motion. And on the slant, throws it directly to the Hill receiver. The Hill defender, and nothing going Yerba Buena's way here. As Andrew Hill's number 20, David, I do not have a number 20 on my roster.
No, it's the player X.
The mystery guest.
Yes, with the interception, the big interception. Actually, that would be, this would be, no, I might have the wrong roster here. So we'll have to find out shortly.
7:32, Hill in possession again, and in Yerba Buena territory. 1st and 10 for the Falcons from the Warriors 41. And Smith with the handoff, cutting back, about an 8-yard pickup for the very athletic Sherman Smith.
Yeah, look at the 2 consecutive turnovers in their own territory for Yerba Buena. So not a good start, and the Warriors are really in danger of putting themselves into a hole early. And that's going to be tough to get out of if their defense doesn't come through right here.
Only 6 yards on the carry after the ball is spotted. And we've got whistles, a flag before the play. And that gives us the opportunity to introduce tonight's officiating crew. It looks like this penalty is going to go False start against the Falcons. That'll back them up 5. George Guindon is the referee. The umpire is Robert Attari. Matt Lamucci is the head linesman. Jeff Roberts, the line judge. And the back judge is Shane Wittig. 2nd and 9 for the Falcons. 7 minutes remaining in this first quarter. The Falcons playing with a 7-0 lead at Yerba Buena. And David Doe with the carry. Doe off like a shot, still on his feet. Difficult to bring down the 5'4" junior, the starting halfback, David Doe.
Yeah, and some missed tackles from YB. That's the second time that Doe has carried the ball. I know he's shifty and a little bit elusive, but you can't make that kind of contact and not wrap the player up for YB.
And first down awarded as the chains move. 1st and 10 from the Yerba Buena 31 as Smith, avoiding all sorts of ankle tackles and pushed out of bounds. Pickup of 4 on the play. So missed tackles seems to be the story here in the early going for Yerba Buena as we have time out on the field. The Warriors call a timeout. 6:40 remaining in the first quarter. The Warriors trailing at home 7-0. Big thanks to our sponsor tonight, Pacific Office Automation. Thank you so much. Because of your generosity and your support of high school sports, we're able to bring you Friday Night Football on CreaTV Sports. Thank you so much, Pacific Office Automation. Alongside David Kiefer, I'm Kirsten Fairchilds. David, while we've got a timeout here on the field, Andrew Hill was able to take advantage of the previous recovery, and here they are on the move once again.
Yeah, again, Andrew Hill is definitely making the most of these gifts that Yerba Buena has given them, and that really is probably going to be the key for the Falcons in this game, just taking advantage of opportunities. On
2nd and 6. And the high pass into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Hill, number 42 for Andrew Hill. And interestingly enough, David, on our rosters, there are no jerseys with numbers in the 40s. And I asked the head coach, don't you have any guys in the 40s? And he said no. And here we've got number 42, our mystery guest, with the touchdown pass, a 31-yard strike into the end zone.
Well, that was a great catch and a great throw. I wish we could give that player credit because he made a heck of a play on that one.
And the extra point is good. 6:31 remaining in the first quarter. Hill leads it 14-0.
So again, opportunities that Yerba Buena has given them has really come back to hurt the Warriors. And Andrew Hill has taken advantage.
This is a rivalry game. Andrew Hill just located down the street and around the corner. And again, as mentioned before, Yerba Buena tonight's homecoming for the Warriors, and some great school spirit. Hopefully we'll have a chance to show you what it looks like here on the Yerba Buena side of the stadium. And I believe we'll have some classic cars in attendance. The homecoming court has already been decided, and those will be the festivities at an extended halftime here at Yerba Buena High School.
This has probably been the most decorated homecoming stands that I've ever seen, yeah. I think, for a game. There's balloons everywhere. There's banners, colors, messages everywhere. It's really a very dramatic scene.
As Cortez kickoff once again taken by the up man. They've placed Nooch as the up man. Very little gain on the return. And perhaps the third time will be the charm here for Yerba Buena as they try to solve their turnover problems and put together a drive. They have still not been able to advance the ball into Andrew Hill territory as they go to work from their own 28-yard line.
Yeah, and this is going to be really a key drive, I think, for Yerba Buena, just to get that confidence going and a rhythm going offensively.
And the run starts things off, and it looks like Hasso in on the tackle.
He's all over the place, isn't he? He's recovered a fumble. He's thrown a touchdown pass. He's run for a touchdown, making a tackle. He's really been everywhere tonight.
He's really one of those all-around players for Andrew Hill, and because they've graduated a number of seniors and had other players transfer out with the confusion with the coaching staff, he's one of the few that actually brings experience to the squad, and you can see he's an on-the-field leader as well.
Yeah, you can just see how much the team depends on him on both sides of the ball. He's playing middle linebacker. He's calling the defenses out. Made the first hit on this play as well.
So the Warriors run on 2nd and 8. And it's Jesus Madrigal with the carry.
And I believe he's gotten every carry for the Warriors. It's their 4th carry, and he's gotten every one of them. He's picking up some good yardage. It's just that the team just needs to sustain some drives, which isn't his fault. He hasn't been involved in either of the turnovers.
On 3rd and about 1.5 yards. Handoff once again, 1st down yardage and more, trying to get around to the end, but good enough for a 1st down, as it is all Madrigal here on this series thus far.
Yeah, and that's probably their wisest option right now, because he's really shown that he can move the ball on his own, and already he's got 29 yards, and that's almost all of Yerba Buena's offense. That's 29 of their 39 yards offensively.
Under 5 minutes to go, Yerba Buena, fresh set of downs, trailing 14-0 to Andrew Hill. From their own 43, looking to throw. And throwing here to the near side and overthrowing the intended receiver. Fans wanted perhaps a PI call, as Belman Joldich, the intended receiver, and it looks like we've got a defensive player for Andrew Hill, a little game, if you will. David Doe, who is also the running back, and Doe limping a bit, but I think he's trying to avoid having to come off the field here at the right corner position as we take another look.
Yeah, and Guevara is he's throwing high. Pretty much all his misses are high. He's just got to put a little bit more zip on the ball and get it in quicker, I think.
And the sweep, cutting back, and a nice run. So the running game has worked. This time it's Nooch. And for the first time tonight, Yerba Buena into Hill territory.
Yeah, and that's a big step for the Warriors. Just, putting together some 1st downs. That's they've already gotten 2 on this drive. They're on the verge of 3. So Warriors finally moving the ball and not turning it over.
On 3rd and 2. And trying to push forward for the 1st down and get around the end. Some good lateral pursuit by Hill, really slowing Madrigal down. It'll be interesting to see where this ball is spotted here. Looks good enough for a 1st down.
I think they got a very generous spot, but either way, it was a great effort by Madrigal to really fight for those yards, and he was rewarded for it.
Under 4 to go, 1st down for the Yerba Buena Warriors. 2 wins on the season thus far, 2 better than last year's campaign. I formation, Nooch in motion. And the handoff to Madrigal, nearly tackled right away by Hasso, but then dropped for a loss as well, as it looks like we've got an Andrew Hill player down.
I think that Hasso hit in the backfield was really the one that brought him down. Just going back to the previous play, I really liked how after Madrigal was fighting for all those yardage, Yasso came up to him and just patted Madrigal on the behind, and it was just a nice show of respect for the effort that he put in on that play. And then Yasso on the following play made the big hit. So both of these guys really hustling here.
Right.
Actually, that was not Madrigal. That was a new ball carrier, and
That's
that was
right.
Ricky Manwong.
So with the player down, Coach Javier Guevara in his first year, looking over, helping the trainer perhaps assess the injury as Marco Osuna wearing the gray cap. Talking to his junior quarterback, I'm Kirsten Fairchild alongside David Kiefer. 3:27 remaining in the first quarter. Andrew Hill's most productive, Yerba Buena's most productive drive thus far. They've turned the ball over twice tonight, which has resulted in 2 scores. And now the player being helped to his feet. So Andrew Hill already with limited numbers, and this is one of the captains of the squad, Hilaria Zuniga. And Zuniga, this would be a big loss. He plays both ways on the line.
Yeah, that's not going to help, especially being right in the interior part of the line like that.
So Andrew Hill, David, I wanted to mention kind of limited fans over there tonight, and perhaps one reason why is this really fun event they're having at their school this evening, which you and I know would have participated in. It's called the Zombie Run, and it's happening at Andrew P. Hill tonight, where there is a race to avoid zombies, and I just think that sounds like an awful fun way to get into the Halloween spirit.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd hate to be caught.
No, I think it's the proper motivation.
Okay.
I think there's motivation there, as after the injured player is helped off the field, 2nd and 12 for Yerba Buena. Going to the air, down the near sideline. He has a man open, caught, dragged down, a touchdown-saving tackle by Sherman Smith. Talk about a denial. Looked like there was nothing but open space for Kevin Boharkes, but Smith makes the big play. However, it'll be 1st and goal from the 1 for Yerba Buena.
Yeah, that's huge, and it's exactly what YB needed. And it looked like a blown coverage there by David Doe. He turned one way, and the ball went way behind him, and it looks like he was the player who was supposed to be responsible for Mojaquez on that one.
3:12 left to go in the first. And we're still waiting for the signal.
It looked like Madrigal was stood up by
Yeah.
the player who made the interception earlier, who we weren't able to identify, and held him just short of the goal line.
2nd and goal. Guevara with Madrigal behind him. Looking to get on the scoreboard, and he's done it. Touchdown, Jesus Madrigal. Yerba Buena is in business.
And he fought right through Yasso's grasp on that play to the players that have been meeting on just about at the line of scrimmage on just about every play. And this time it was Madrigal who came out on top. And that was huge for YB after those 2 mistakes, and they were able to claw back and come within a touchdown after falling behind by 2 scores early.
The point after. The attempt is good. 2:27 remaining in the first. Andrew Hill up 14-7.
That was Rafael Verduzco on the extra point, a nice kick, bringing the Warriors within 7. So the touchdown play was just right up the middle, and I don't know if Zuniga's absence might have played a role in the ease in which YB was able to find some room right up the middle. But again, you have to take advantage of your opportunities when you have them, and this time YB did so.
Yerba Buena fans looking for a little magic this season, especially on a night against their rival. Former assistant coach, now the head coach of the opposing team. It's homecoming. These teams are tied for 4th place in the West Valley Division.
So that was a 10-play drive covering 71 yards. Really nice to see for the Warriors.
As the up man fields it at the 19. And a healthy return for Andrew Hill. Has some extracurriculars going on as the pack unfolds. It looks like James Rodriguez, the 5'5" junior, on the return.
Yeah, and the fact that he was kind of stood up and the whistle hadn't blown yet, that always kind of leads to a little bit of extracurriculars, just because players are still going after it, and there's always a little bit of extra fire when the plays last that long. Rigo Cortez with that first down carry. A nice pickup there. There's a flag down.
And our referee tonight, George Gindel. He went over the French pronunciation with you in case you're wondering why I've hit it kind of hard tonight, as exactly that, Cortez with the carry. And it looked like Giovanni Parra in on the tackle. Personal foul against Yerba Buena.
15 more yards.
So a few miscues tonight have really hurt Yerba Buena, including the 2 turnovers. And now, after finally getting to kick the ball away for the first time tonight, a penalty allows Andrew Hill into Warrior territory.
Yeah, it's that was too easy. I mean, one play and one penalty, and all of a sudden, Andrew Hill is already practically knocking on the door just
Smith,
after.
Excuse me, Smith in motion, but going to the air on the slant, and that looked like a very catchable ball, and I think the intended receiver knew it as well. The mysterious number 42 already with a TD reception on the evening. He should have had that.
Yeah, maybe it was too easy of a catch. The last one was so difficult and ended up being a 28-yard touchdown play. This one, perhaps he was thinking another touchdown maybe before he should have.
Sportsmanship helping the receiver up. 2nd and 10. And our cameraman fooled a bit. Thought the play was a sweep, but instead it's Cortez, and another big gain by Cortez. We saw some production from him on earlier series,
yeah,
and it'll be 3rd and 1.
I was going to say YB keeps falling for it. Cortez is the guy who's been ripping off all these gains, and YB seems to be more interested in covering the other players instead.
Our sideline cameraman not fooled at all, as Rodriguez denied the first down. So it'll be 4th and inches. And David, this is really the kind of first scenario where a team has to decide whether to go for it or not. We haven't had any 4th down, and exactly that. I think we're going to have Andrew Hill timeout here to talk things over. 57 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Andrew Hill with a 14-7 lead, which I'm sure pleases the first-year coach Javier Guevara. Again, he was last with Yerba Buena, and he took over the role when former coach Jake Redman exited the program. My understanding is pretty late in the school year. So again, a number of key players have transferred to other schools for Andrew Hill, and They only had about 20 players or so suited up. It looks like maybe they've got some from the junior varsity game perhaps on the sideline. But as head coach Guevara said, no relation to the Yerba Buena quarterback, Kenneth Guevara, but head coach Javier Guevara saying, what small in numbers, large in heart.
Yeah, and they're playing like it too. Andrew Hill has really been the aggressor in this game, and they don't have very many players on the sidelines. I mean, I'm guessing that they may have, gosh, maybe 20 players altogether, maybe a couple more. But I mean, YB has got a huge amount of players on the sideline, which, you know, I said before is a very healthy sign. But it's funny to see Andrew Hill be the team that's really been the most physical and aggressive team so far.
So we're having a measurement, as our viewers can see. Thank you for joining us on this Friday night. As close as can be. We've seen Hasso been able to pick up short yardage.
I thought he was going to line up directly under center, but I guess that's not their MO. It's always going to be out of the shotgun with this offense.
As the balloons have broken loose, in case you're wondering what that is. In the viewfinder of our camera here on 4th and inches. Hasso, indeed, and the line moved before the snap.
A little bit of a mix-up there with the Falcons. I think that's definitely going to go against Andrew Hill, yes.
So, as you indicated, suggested sublimely that they're used to operating out of the shotgun, and perhaps being under center is what threw everything off there.
Possibly. You know, they're at a weird spot. You know, there's kicking games are maybe not strengths of high school teams, and so you don't necessarily see conventional decision making. For instance, on this play, looks like Hill is going to go for it rather than punt.
That's right. Their punter is Jesus Gomez. And now 4th and 6. And Hasso back out of the shotgun. Pressure coming. He evades one defender. Still on his feet. Look at the giddy up and go by Jose Hasso. That is a hard-earned first down.
And just like we were saying, small in numbers but big in heart, I think that was a perfect example of that motto for Andrew Hill, because that was all heart.
Look at this. Right there, it's Nooch.
It's 3 players that had a hand on him. 4. The 5th player was finally the one to bring him down.
And I think Coach Osuna just has to be so unhappy with the tackling of the Warriors. Fresh set of downs for Hill. 40 seconds remaining in the quarter. 1st and 10 from the Yerba Buena 37. Sherman Smith showing some zigging and zagging as he takes off for the down marker. A penalty marker comes in.
Wasn't sure if that was something that was maybe something after the play or a face mask. I couldn't tell.
So we see the blocking.
It must have been a clip possibly. I'm not sure.
And holding called on Hill.
Behind the play, so it really didn't affect the play probably. So a big break for YB.
So that'll make it 1st and 12, 29 ticks of the clock remaining here in the first quarter. Smith again in motion. Hasso on the slant and just poorly thrown as again our mystery guest, the intended receiver, stops the clock with 20 seconds remaining.
So Hasso, we've got him 2 for 5 so far passing for 38 yards. Of course, one of them was that 28-yard touchdown play.
Second and 12. Twin receiving set for Hasso. Hasso, pressure coming. And the screen pass. So, David, Yerba Buena is able to apply pressure, get a great jump off the ball into the backfield, but Hasso really does a great job evading the pressure, as that is the final play of the first quarter. 1 quarter in the books. The defending champs, undefeated last year, Andrew Hill taking on the team that was winless last year. Just 1 score between them at this point heading into the second.
Well, it's already been far closer than it was last year when Andrew Hill won in a rout.
We'll finish that thought in just a moment. We'll step away and return with more action from East San Jose. You're watching CreaTV Sports.
Invest in our community's voice and become a friend of CreaTV. Just pledge an ongoing monthly donation to CreaTV San Jose and we will do the rest. Your support allows CreaTV to provide thousands of San Jose students with digital media skills, help hundreds of San Jose nonprofits tell their stories and build capacity, and air thousands of community videos. To donate, visit creatvsj.org or call 408-295-8815.
Fun atmosphere here at Yerba Buena tonight. The Warriors trailing 14-7 to Andrew Hill Falcons, their nearby rival school. The Falcons in the white and black, moving right to left. 3rd and 12. Jose Hasso finally dropped the sack, but a penalty marker comes flying in.
A pink penalty marker. I've never seen that.
That might have been one of the... Well, I thought it might be one of Andrew Hill's towels, but you may be right.
Apparently the officials are also involved in the breast cancer awareness campaign.
I've got my bracelets on tonight, wearing pink.
That was Orlando Cabrera with the first hit, and I'm not sure what the penalty was.
Yeah, sorry, Dave, to interrupt you, but was there some kind of late hit? Was Hasso already down?
Yard.
And once again, another big penalty from Yerba Buena allows what seemed to be the Falcons again in a moment where they were struggling, or at least having difficulties. So the sack negated, and the handoff Hill. And a tackle in the backfield as the ball carrier James Rodriguez denied.
Yeah, that's something you want to see YB stab himself, shoot themselves in the foot, I guess you would say, again, with costly penalties and mistakes. But good play there by Luis Rodriguez, wrapping up the ball carrier on that play, James Rodriguez.
So it stands 4th and 5 for the Falcons. Hasso going to the air, going end zone, in traffic. Smith, the intended receiver. And the lanky Smith goes up but can't bring it in. And Yerba Buena takes over. Yerba Buena Warriors again. As we take a look at this play, Yerba Buena looking to even this game up.
Yeah, good defensive effort there. It looked like Sherman Smith had a beat on it, but some good coverage there by the YB secondary really prevented that ball from being completed for a touchdown.
.11:04, just a few seconds gone here in the second quarter. As the ball spotted at the Yerba Buena 27. Kenneth Guevara out of the shotgun, and the handoff to Madrigal. Madrigal trying turn the corner on the left side. And that's something Coach Osuna said, that he's got good team speed, and they really feel like whether they're undersized or not at certain positions that they really are quite a speedy team as we take another look.
You can see that they're, for the most part, Hill has a little bit more size than YB, so I think they're going to have to definitely take advantage of their speed and quickness in an effort to get around maybe some bigger players for Andrew Hill. This time a penalty goes against Andrew Hill, so this is a little bit of going both ways. I guess it's hurting both teams the same.
The balloons again. I think you said it. I have never seen such decorated stands for a homecoming, but the issue is the wind has picked up here. And at sometimes the balloons blocking our vantage point here in the press box. A nice run here, a penalty thrown by our referee.
And this might be against YB.
That is a pink flag. Jesus Chuy Madrigal, a senior. Already off to a good night tonight, but one of his teammates called for holding.
That's tough. It ruins a really nice run. Yeah, and neither team is really able to get going in this second quarter. It's a lot of penalties and no rhythm really at this point. Oh, there goes some balloons, which actually we kind of like because we get a better view of the field instead of all these balloons in front of us. But
it is. I've never had the press box blocked by balloons before. Just kind of add it's a festive night here, but yes, the balloons are being escorted to safety. On 1st and 20, Guevara. And nearly gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure, but I think it was more he just didn't have anybody open on that play, so he just had to tuck it and run.
Bring up 2nd and 12. Yerba Buena, which has had a lot of success in the air this season, has not had too much success thus far tonight. Nooch in motion. Madrigal voids one tackler. And be 3rd and 9. It really has become a little bit one note from Yerba Buena, but Madrigal shows to be up to the task of putting this team on his shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, at least they have an option. I think that's the main thing, is that, yes, it's one-dimensional so far, but he's making it worth the Warriors' while, stepping out of tackles, not losing any quickness. He's the Warriors' best weapon so far.
Another misdirection, but this time a fumble. Guevara picks it up.
Yeah, that one looked like they just messed up. I think Guevara, they were trying some misdirection, but there was an awfully strange handoff on his part, and I don't think it was something that was in the playbook. I think he just forgot, or just the timing was way off on the handoff there to Jimmy Nooch.
Yeah, Nooch looked completely unprepared. As 4th and 12, so this will be our first punt of the game. It comes at the 8:25 and counting mark here in the second quarter, as Joel Maciel, the punter for Yerba Buena, and I believe back deep is Sherman Smith. And a short punt, but takes a Yerba Buena bounce. And after it's all said and done, pretty good result.
Yeah, I was going to say that Alexei Gertowski looked like a free run to the punter, but just wasn't able to get there in time.
8:04 left to go in the first half. Andrew Hill with the ball, a 14-7 lead, and the Falcons will go to work from the 14-yard line. I'm Kirsten Fairchild alongside David Kiefer. Thank you so much for joining us on Friday Night Football here on CreaTV Sports. Love coming on over to Yerba Buena. Very fun atmosphere here. Great student body turnout for homecoming as other balloons are launching skyward. Not much there for the run.
That was Cortez again. This time they really sniffed it out well, and the Warriors dropped him for a yard or two loss.
2nd and 12. And Hasso. Short pass across the middle, and it looks like the handle lost a little bit, but no harm, no foul as James Rodriguez with the catch.
Yeah, that was a nice little throw. Not much of a rush by the Warriors, but nice positioning there by Rodriguez to make the catch and position himself to shield that defender.
Third and 5 for the Falcons. Hasso. And Hasso finding holes where none exist, but I believe well short of the first down.
I think this was, I don't know if this was a design play, maybe a draw play on his part, but I think the previous run that he made where he was breaking all kinds of tackles might have, I think they went to the well a little bit too often on that one, because that one didn't really stand a chance.
On 4th down, Hill's punter is Jesus Gomez, and it appears that it'll be Joldich back deep to return the punt. Takes it at 44-yard line. It goes through his hands, but he picks it up and into, well, nearly into Hill's territory. Nope, they're going to mark it right at midfield. 5:52 remaining in the half as Yerba Buena gets back to work, trailing 14-7.
Yeah, near disaster there for YB, muffing the punt, but a nice recovery there by Joldich. Good field position for the Warriors on the midfield stripe, and they're within a nice little moderate drive to tie the score.
Guevara on the slant, caught, first down, and it is Boldich. Now, head coach, Andrew Hill head coach Javier Guevara, since he was just with this Yerba Buena team last year, I said, you must know so many of the players. Who do you know can be a playmaker? And it's number 7 for Yerba Buena. That's who he expected big things from Bellman Joldich.
Well, that was a nice grab, just a nicely designed play. The Andrew Hill defenders really had no chance just because of where the pass was thrown and the way Joldich's body was positioned. So really good play, and now they're all of a sudden the 37-yard line. Warriors have a chance to strike.
Again, a missed tackle in the backfield by Hill. And Madrigal, what a burst of speed. His best run of the night, shifted into a higher gear. David, he has not displayed that burst thus far tonight.
Well, I don't know if there's been one play where he hasn't broken a tackle. I think at least once every play he's broken at least one tackle, which is incredible. So very, that's good sign of leg strength, not to mention his quickness.
1st and 10 from the Hill 17. Yerba Buena with a chance to tie it. 5:02 remaining in the first half. Guevara rolling to his right, under pressure, and nearly throws it away, and that sounded helmet to helmet. A horrible sound, and as you see, the intended receiver down And, oops, popping right back up. But that was just, we could hear it from here, Luis Rodriguez, and he falls down again. David, such a scary situation when two players meet helmet to helmet.
Yeah, when you're leading the player like that and you can see the collision about to happen, it just makes me cringe just as we saw it develop. You know, fortunately he was able to get up, but I think you know, that's just kind of tough to see.
So the clock stopped, 4:54 remaining. And now he's up on his feet as we take another look. And it was kind of just out of view of our camera. But yes, the injured player coming off, and to great applause, obviously. Very scary scenario, but he was able to come off of his own volition. 2nd and 10. Under 5 minutes to go here in the first half for Yerba Buena. And ball being spotted on the 17-yard line. And a problem again. It looked like there was a problem with the handoff as we just see the tenacity of Jose Hasso on defense. Yerba Buena was lucky they didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, it didn't look like Madrigal really had the ball, and I think he was just trying to collect it. Yeah, just I think it was kind of, Guevara was kind of caught in that point between trying to pull it back in and at the last second, but it's really too late because Madrigal already had his hands on the ball, but I think Guevara was trying to pull it back and run it himself. It's kind of a read option play.
Hasso might have had a play on that ball, kind of trapped there against the side of Madrigal's hip. Timeout on the field. The Warriors call a timeout to talk it over. They're trailing 14-7 with 4:17 remaining in the first half. 3rd and 15 when we return. A big thanks to Pacific Office Automation for their sponsorship of this broadcast. Thank you so much for your support of high school athletics, high school football. Pacific Office Automation, a big part of why we're able to bring you coverage of high school sports here on CreaTV Sports. Thank you so much. Alongside David Kiefer, I'm Kirsten Fairchild. At halftime, we'll have our halftime show, highlights from the first half. Perhaps we'll catch a little bit of footage of the homecoming festivities here at Yerba Buena High School. Such a terrific atmosphere, a lot of school spirit. Rivalry game.
I was going to say that YB was inside the 20. You know, that's red zone territory, and you really got to take advantage of red zone opportunities. And that loss, 5-yard loss, has kind of really messed up this chance for YB. They're going to be lucky to get out of this one.
Guevara electing to put the ball on his hip, maybe. Gain of 2. That'll be 4th and 13. As well, I think they're showing that there was no gain whatsoever. So the ball's on the 22. Now this would be a 40-yard attempt. And Yerba Buena's kicker is Rafael Verduzco. He's good from 47 yards in practice. He's made a 32-yard field goal and a 35-yard field goal thus far this year. The long snapper is Isaiah De La Rosa. Guevara is the holder. And this is low, but it's a bullet, and it is wide left. So the field goal attempt, no good. Hill takes over with 3:26 left to go in the half.
Yeah, and kind of an opportunity wasted, I think, because of that botched handoff. Just that one play, I think, was really the one that really cost YB on that drive. I think otherwise the Warriors may have had an opportunity for a touchdown.
So some miscues thus far for Yerba Buena tonight. But
yeah,
here it is, a 1-score difference.
Yeah, that obviously the 2 turnovers early that led to Andrew Hill scores, but that one wasn't a turnover, but it did probably just as much damage by costing YB a chance to score.
Hasso gets back to work. 4 receivers, sends a man in motion. It's Smith. Smith trying to turn the corner on the left side. He does. Smith finally pushed out of bounds. You just kind of sense the athleticism of Smith. Head coach Guevara said he's one of my best athletes on this team.
Yeah, YB's defense was just fast enough to prevent him from getting the edge and getting that outside position to go down the sideline. So nice effort there by the Warriors to prevent a big play.
Jorge Mota, number 10, the linebacker. Big surprise we haven't called his name thus far tonight. He in on pushing Smith out. He has been a big part of this Yerba Buena team this year. As Hasso, he's like a wrecking ball. He's like a snowball going downhill.
Yeah, unfortunately, Johnny Tew was the player that just got knocked over backward. But I think because Yasso's helmet came off, he has to be out for a play. So I'm not sure who's going to come in at quarterback.
Well, let me see if I can tell you. I was not given a. Perhaps we'll see a wildcat, as no backup quarterback was provided to us.
And it was interesting the fact that he.
Oh, it looks like, excuse me, Rigo Cortez will step in.
Yeah, Yasso was under center in that play. It looked like kind of a wishbone out of the old Texas or Oklahoma teams.
And good tackling, better tackling by Yerba Buena for the loss of yardage.
Yeah, Doe didn't have much of a chance on that one, and Yasso will be back on this play.
2nd and 14 as we take another look.
Yeah, Doe looked like it was Joel Maciel who had the first contact on that one.
2nd and 13. Hasso dropped the first sack of the night for Yerba Buena as the line beginning to give here for Hill.
I think that was, he just ran into his own player, ran into Rigo Cortez. Right here, he tried to go up the middle and ran right into Cortez, and that gave YB enough of a chance to get around on him.
3rd and 17 for Hill, going the wrong way here. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first half as the whistles blow. And Hill will call a timeout. Up 14-7, but this drive's not only stalled, they're rolling back downhill.
Yeah, they've lost yardage on their past 2 plays, and I don't think they have a 3rd and 18 play drawn up necessarily, but you also don't want to give YB the chance to drive down in that minute 50 that's left right now and score. So interesting to see what kind of call the Falcons make here.
The school Andrew Hill established in 1956, Andrew P. Hill High School. And where we are tonight, Yerba Buena School first started back in 1973.
Did you know what Andrew Hill is famous for?
He's very famous.
He was a conservationist, a painter.
Yes, he had a lot to do with the park system. I mean, he really was a very interesting guy.
According to Wikipedia, he preserved the redwood forest in Big Basin.
Yeah, no, I know I know that he's had a huge impact on the Santa Clara County, if not beyond that, as we see exactly what the play was on 3rd and 17. Smith, the receiver. However, it's still 4th and long. I believe both teams with 1 timeout remaining. The clock ticking down, under 90 seconds here. And I think Hill taking their time, as we'll have another look at the punter, Jesus Gomez. And it's Boldich back deep, standing at his own 34-yard line, 33-yard line.
I think if I was YB, I would just send, I wouldn't even have a returning player. I would just send every player, because look how close the punter is to the line of scrimmage.
And
looks like they got the block.
They did block. It looked like the ball got up into the air, so great call, my partner David Kiefer, as it looks like Jose Venegas falling on the ball, but with 58 seconds, a prime opportunity for Yerba Buena to take advantage and possibly go into halftime all even at 14 apiece. Let's take another look.
That was huge, and it looked like Madrigal and also Orlando Cabrera were the two players that were in on that block. I'm not sure who had the contact, but their punter was lined up so close to the line of scrimmage that it looked like any kind of a decent rush would have threatened a block on that, and that's exactly what happened. And with 58 seconds left, YB's got the ball on the 14-yard line.
1st and 10 from the 14. Guevara with the handoff. And Andrew Hill reading that as very little there for Nooch.
Yeah,
none there.
And YB's got to use a timeout on that one.
51 seconds remaining. I believe that's their final timeout.
They lost about 3 yards on that play, so that really did not help the Warriors' cause at all.
As you see, number 9 for Hill. Another mystery guest, if you will, in on the tackle as Coach Guevara, his first year as a head coach. He's had so much experience in the area. In fact, your old stomping ground, the Mercury News, did a big story on him taking over this program after being an assistant so many years, including most recently here at Yerba Buena last year. And I asked him what the difference between being a head coach and assistant was, and he said, I can't believe how much paperwork I have as a head coach. As we return here on 2nd and 13, Guevara, wide open receiver, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Yerba Buena. It looked as if Cabrera might step out of bounds to stop the clock, but he would settle for nothing less than a touchdown.
Wow, that was Orlando Cabrera with the tightrope, but look at how he withstood the hit at about the 10-yard line and kept his balance. And I think the problem there is you got to wrap up. If you're an Andrew Hill defender, yeah, you could go for the hit, but you got to wrap the guy up.
It's good. 44 seconds remain. We're all knotted up at 14.
What a break for Andrew Hill, the block, for YB, the block, and then the great tightrope action by the receiver Cabrera, and all of a sudden it's a tie ball game.
David, I believe, was that a lightning flash? Lightning was actually forecasted for this evening. Of course, if there is, play will come to a stop. No questions asked here.
You know, I was not looking up. I did not see it. I'll have to keep my eyes open. But
I'm sure our officiating crew will be playing, and the administrators here. Close attention. Rain is forecasted for this evening. Nevertheless, 44 seconds remain. Yerba Buena kicking off, I believe, out of timeouts. Hill, 1 remaining for Andrew Hill, as the Warriors looking to ride this big mo into their halftime and their homecoming festivities. Kicked away, and Smith lets it bounce, picks it up at the 8. Smith holding on to his lead blocker and then just dropped like a sack of potatoes. What a tackle by Yerba Buena's Jose Rodriguez.
And I don't think there's any miracle play that Andrew Hill can come up with. I don't think Yasso's arm is that strong to throw some kind of a long pass, but I think it might be best for Andrew Hill to just take a knee and just go into the locker room with the tie ball game.
I would suspect as much, but then again, Hasso strikes me as a competitor. And the handoff, wide open gap, and it's going to be a first down. It's almost as if Yerba Buena was expecting the knee, and Cortez breaks through for a first down, and Hill calls a timeout, his final timeout.
Well, yeah, I guess they're going to go down. They wouldn't go down without a fight, so I guess that's not too surprising from Andrew Hill. There go some more balloons.
The balloons are, because there are so many of them, it's almost like chemistry class. You know, the different kind of, help me out here, it's been a while.
Like molecules and protons and neutrons.
It's very molecular.
And things like
I know, there it goes, exactly. It's very.
The nucleus.
Yeah. Again, the homecoming here tonight, and different colors assigned to the different classes. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And it looks like the sophomores are the only balloons that are all intact. As we get back to work here, Hasso trying to get some separation, heaves it up. And in traffic, that ball was nearly caught. That would have made things interesting as Alexei Gurtowski goes up. Clock stop with 21 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it looks like that's probably going to be what the Falcons are going to be doing for the next couple plays, I would guess.
Hasso's got he's got an arm.
Yeah, I mean, he's a strong kid, you could tell. That was close to being complete, so that is something that the Falcons have in their arsenal.
As we get right back to it, and this one is caught, tackle missed, and you see the receiver James Rodriguez trying to get out of bounds, and Yerba Buena not cooperating. So 13 seconds remain as Hill, they run this no huddle offense, trying to get in formation here, just shy of midfield. 13 seconds remaining. If they can run a quick out play, they might have another opportunity to possibly pull off some late first half magic, but Hasso in trouble. Yerba Buena apparently thwarting any plans as the clock runs out. We'll wait for the sign from our referee.
I think that was Cabrera in on that sack. He's been all over the place. He was in on that block punt as well.
Two teams, so many similarities. Call East San Jose home. They're both 2-4 overall, 1-2 in league, and all even after one half of play. 14-14 the score. We will return with our CreaTV Sports halftime show from Yerba Buena High School. Halftime at Yerba Buena, and things did not get off to a good start to the home team. For the home team, Andrew P. Hill, their rival, recovering the errant snap.
Yeah, and then this was Jose Yasa with the touchdown. 1 yard run put Andrew Hill up 7-0.
Hasso, just a tremendous player on both sides of the ball. Guevara then throwing it right to the defender.
Yeah, that was that led to the second Andrew Hill touchdown. And this was, we didn't have his name earlier, but it was Chuy Gomez with a 28-yard touchdown pass from Hasso. And that made it 14-0 for Andrew Hill. And then YB came back with a huge play, and that was a long pass to Kevin Bojoquez, and that set up a touchdown run by Chuy Madrigal, which gave YB their first touchdown, made it 14-7. And then a botched handoff didn't help YB any. However, but YB got a nice run from Madrigal, but eventually they would give the ball up, and Andrew Hill had to punt, but YB blocked it, and that set up a touchdown that tied it up at 14-14.
As Hill gets the ball for the first time here in the second half and refusing to go down, James Rodriguez, and just rounding off the scoring perhaps, if we can. It was a 14-0 lead for Andrew Hill, and then Madrigal plunged in from 1 yard out late in the first quarter for the score. And then as we take a look at this return, again, just the heart that Andrew Hill is playing for. And just to finish up the scoring in the second quarter, only Yerba Buena scored. It was Cabrera, a 14-yard TD catch from Guevara to even things up 14-all here as Hill gets to work. 1st and 10 from their own 45. Both teams 2 and 4 overall, 1 and 2 in league, and problems with the snap. Hasso picks it up. Ball is still loose. They're going to rule him down. And the Yerba Buena D came out to play.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to see our replay.
Yes, I'm not sure.
I don't know if the play, if Hasso really was down. Let's see what happens. Well, first of all, he just dropped it. I think one of his players ran into him a little bit, and then he wasn't down. That was
close.
That was YB's ball. It should be YB's ball at about the 21-yard line or so. Too bad they don't have instant replay in high school, because that should have been that would have been a big break for YB.
Instead, it is about 2nd and Kirtner Avenue as Hill turns to Hasso again, trying for the sweep on the right side, denied. So Yerba Buena, again, winless last year, 0-10, 0-7. Marco Osuna, the head coach, said it was such a difficult season last year. He's in his 3rd year with the program, and one of the things he told me, when it was his first year, David, he had 28 players out. Last year, he had 38 players out. This year, he has 47 players. Now, 2 are hurt tonight. He has 27 juniors, 21 seniors, and 1 sophomore. And the sophomore was named the Duke in the homecoming court. We'll tell you about him as the game goes on. And great defense, great coverage by the defender, breaking up that potential pass play. And it was number 25, Luis Rodriguez. We've called his name a couple of times tonight.
Yeah, that play didn't have a chance. But go on with your story. I want to hear about the sophomore.
Okay, then. So our sophomore, the only starter, as I look for my lineup here.
I believe it was Horacio Mendez for YB.
Let's see, as great adjustment. There was problems with the snap on the punt. However, it still goes out of bounds at the 48-yard line, 46-yard line. So Andrew Hill, not a terrific start with getting the ball to start things off here in the first quarter, as Yerba Buena is my starting sophomore. I made a special note. Horacio Mendez, indeed. He was named the Duke, got to ride in a car furnished by the Thunderbird Club. And his head coach said, now he's going to run to the locker room, change into his suit, come back, then change into his pads. And the player goes, Coach, can't I just stay in my pads? And the coach said, okay. So it worked out fine. He didn't want to make all those wardrobe changes, as we have penalty markers thrown before the play. Actually, false start on Yerba Buena. So once again, penalties for Yerba Buena have played a role tonight.
Well, not to go back to that officiating mistake, but that was a big mistake. And I think we both thought that wasn't even close, even watching it live action. I know officials are human, so we don't want to be too critical, but still, that was what, maybe it was an inadvertent whistle, and they had to stop it, even though maybe, I don't know, but. Either way, YB has the ball back, but they're about 30 yards further back than they were before.
So Hill's showing blitz, and we'll see which way this goes, but Yerba Buena is flinching here. As the officiating crew getting together to talk this over. That punt really set Yerba Buena up in great position, but here they are moving back, but this against the defense. So Yerba Buena has moved far back. They don't realize the penalty. And now we've got another flag thrown, as it looks like this penalty is being walked off. So here we are, 4th game of the league season, and so many penalties still in play. And it looks like our referee is going to head over to the Andrew P. Hill side of the field, potentially to talk to the coaching staff.
They don't call themselves Andrew P. Hill, just Andrew Hill.
So that flag picked up potentially maybe a sideline warning or something that needed some sort of counseling for a referee. So as play resumes, it is 1st and 10 from the Hill 46. And again, movement. David, this is the 3rd time out. We've had penalty markers. What has changed so much?
Yeah, just keep going back and forth at 5-yard increments.
That's like 1 step forward, 1 step back.
Jeez, I think we just want to see some football by now.
Yes, kind of after such a great homecoming festivities. And David, I love the implementation of a field goal kicking contest among Yerba Buena's faculty. We'll talk a little bit more about that as this game goes on, but I would like to see that implemented at every homecoming game. These students loved watching their teachers attempting field goals, and I'm sure they enjoy watching another big run by Madrigal. You know, he wasn't hyped too much in our pregame conversations and our conversations this week with the coaching staff. Boy, he's their secret weapon.
Yeah, and you know, already he's got, let's see, he had 58 yards at halftime, and that run was 13, so he's got 71 yards right now rushing. And like you said before, almost every run he's broken at least 1 tackle.
On 2nd and 2, Nooch in motion. Madrigal just kind of hand slapping like a wrestler past the first line of defense, and it'll bring up 3rd and short for Yerba Buena.
Some players slow getting up for Andrew Hill.
Now we had seen the Hill player being helped off, and we were really concerned about Hilario Zuniga, but I happened to have a chance meeting with some Hill players outside of the stands, and they said he's doing fine and expected to play here in the second half. So that is good news because he is the anchor of the line. Guevara looking to throw. Nope, puts the ball on his hip. First down yardage and more. So our first chance really at looking at the running ability of Guevara, and it results in a first down.
Yeah, now they're back in the close to scoring position now, and they have a chance to take the lead. So YB with the big rally, I think we're still right in the middle of it, coming back from 14-0 down and have an opportunity to take the lead.
Ball on the Hill 31. Guevara, quick throw, but his receiver slipped and fell down. The throw was short, and the intended receiver, Kwok Trin.
So I had a couple stats at halftime, so this is obviously a few minutes old, but Andrew Hill had 61 rushing yards, 72 receiving yards for 153 overall, and Yerba Buena had 60 rushing, 88 passing for 148. So really even numbers, just as even as the score.
Yeah, and I think those kind of passing yardage exceeding the rushing, I think because some big passes, some big plays were made rather than plentiful, and an opportunity here for the smallest running back on the team. And coach, the opposing coach also brought him up as well, that listed at 5'4" is number 28, Ricky Manvong, and Manvong is senior, and the opposing coach knew him very well, being that he was with the program last year, and really likes his running style, his low center of gravity.
Yeah, just a little change of pace. You know, sometimes the smaller guys are hard to spot, hard to corral as players, defensive players try to get around the blockers. So nice compliment to Madrigal.
Guevara on the keeper. Another first down.
Yeah, the defense totally fell for the play action and gave Guevara all kinds of room. Good read by Guevara to keep the ball.
You know, David, we watch so many wing T offenses in any given high school season. This, of course, a different formation, but I have to say no one has run the misdirection, the deception, as well as I've seen all season as Yerba Buena has done tonight.
Well, that's probably why they're back in the ball game.
Guevara going to the end zone and incomplete. And in the vicinity, a player we've been calling a lot tonight, James Rodriguez. Again, Andrew Hill, roughly 20, 24 players suited up thus far tonight. So a lot of players obviously playing both ways. Halftime at the game, a lot of people have their eyes on. Milpitas up 14-0 over Wilcox. Milpitas, the #1 ranked team in the Central Coast section by the San Jose Mercury News.
And Guevara right now is 5 for 9 for 88 yards passing.
2nd and 10 from the Hill 19. As Madrigal trying to turn the corner. He does!
Wow,
and
look at the way
another big run.
You see the way he split those two defenders was amazing.
Threading a needle as another Hill player being forced or being helped up. Jose Venegas, this time number 34, needing a hand up. Let's take another look.
Yeah, look at this burst of speed. He has the Hill defenders both have a beat on him, and he's just split the two of them and gets inside the 5-yard line, and then looks like a big penalty. Probably a holding call. I didn't see the signal. Oh, that's huge for YB to be backtracked when they were inside the 5-yard line. Now back out to the 28. Tough break for the Warriors.
Late in the 4th quarter, Bellarmine leading Midi 14-9. As we have some scores trickling in here as these games are progressing. So it is 2nd and 20 as Guevara in traffic. You see the secondary of Hill. Again, they've got players like Sherman Smith, a lot of speed.
Oh, tough collision there. It might have been both Hill defenders running into each other. Somebody might have got their bell rung a little bit.
Leland leading Lee at halftime by a score of 17-13. No score between Valley Christian and St. Francis, or actually 0-0 the score between Valley Christian and St. Francis. Both teams playing some defense over in their neck of the woods. Madrigal around the left side, and he is brought down, and that is a big celebration, if you will, by David Doe. Madrigal has been difficult to stop all night, and the 5'4" Doe doing the honors.
Yeah, that was a big play, because now all of a sudden YB has to figure out what they're going to do. They're going to go for the field goal attempt. Remember earlier, late in the what was the 2nd quarter or so, they tried a 39-yarder that was, I believe, wide. It was kind of a line
wide
drive.
Left, I believe. Yeah,
so it got there, but this one will be, gosh, a 43-yard. This is going to be even longer.
Well, again, his head coach says he's good from 47 yards out. This is Rafael Verduzco. The holder is Kenneth Guevara, and I think perhaps partially deflected.
Yeah, hard to say, but it just didn't have. He just hit it. Looked like he just hit it too low and just kind of popped it up.
So after all the penalties, 6:01 is all that remains in the 3rd quarter. A very hiccuping start to the 2nd half. All knotted up at 14. And again, David and I are certainly have covered high school sports for a lot of years. I know personally I rarely bring any kind of officiating into it. Certainly appreciate all the hard work the officials do, and as you mentioned, only human, but perhaps that call, a huge call potentially deciding the outcome of this game, at least, as Hasso over the hill of the intended receiver running the slant, and it is number 42, but Jesus Chuy Gomez, the junior wide receiver, usually wearing number 33. He's changed into 42 tonight, and he's the intended receiver.
Yeah, Hasso is 6 for 13 passing for 72 yards. So.
Up on the peninsula, Aragon beating Half Moon Bay 34-14. That is the final score. Aragon with a win tonight. And penalty markers fly.
There was some kind of illegal shift or something from Andrew Hill. Legal procedure. Now, can you name the most famous quarterback in Andrew Hill history? Although I don't know if he played varsity. I probably shouldn't say that, but I should say probably the most famous student ever at Andrew Hill.
You know, I know from working with you, you are so great with the alumni, and that was one of the things I meant to get to this week. I'm going to guess it was a baseball player?
No.
As on 2nd and 15, and again, another incomplete pass by Hasso.
You give up?
Politician?
No, football player.
Oh, but didn't play varsity?
Correct, but it's deceiving.
Okay, go ahead.
Jim McMahon, the Chicago Bears, was a student for, I believe, his first 2 years in high school at Andrew Hill, so I believe he played JVs.
And then transferred.
And then I think the family moved to Utah after that, and of course he went on to huge stardom at BYU and with the Chicago Bears.
That is, as they say, good knowledge. A penalty marker comes in, the pass is completed, but before the play was finished, a penalty marker thrown. And perhaps PI, the sign? Let's see.
Possibly.
Boy, this officiating crew, we saw them enjoying the snack bar here in between the junior varsity and varsity game. Not the entire crew was involved in the junior varsity game, and they have been busy tonight.
Still haven't seen a signal from the referee.
Are they going to pass interference?
Yeah.
So despite the pass being caught, obviously the penalty marker thrown, and a much better result for Andrew Hill.
Yeah, the Falcons should get the automatic first down out of it, so that definitely takes precedence over the yards that they gained on the pass to Chuy Gomez.
And the pass, they're going to say one official is saying that he was down, the other saying incomplete pass.
Huh. Yeah, it looked like, to me, from our angle, it looked like Gortowski caught it and then just, looks like the ball
was trapped against
him. Yeah, took a bounce.
So, really erratic start here to the second half after a very competitive first half. There were certainly penalties, but you didn't feel like it was interrupting too often the flow of the game. But a very sloppy game here to start things off in this rivalry game. 2nd and 10 for Andrew Hill. Hasso on the option. Keeps it.
And yeah, nice there, run by Hasso, although didn't get a lot, but you can tell, this seems like things have just kind of started to slow down, and maybe we need to have some kind of a big play to kind of get the energy back a little bit for both teams.
You know, it's funny because the energy off the field has not lulled at all, as you can hear perhaps through our microphones. Just the school spirit and the cheerleading squad is doing a great job on both sides of the field as once again whistles blow. And I think perhaps mercifully a timeout is called as Coach Guevara wants to talk things over with this Andrew Hill squad on 3rd and 7 here. 5:06 remaining in the third quarter, all knotted up at 14. So many penalties here in the early going, perhaps a rest, a break, a few words from their coach will clean things up here in the third quarter. In the meantime, we here at CreaTV Sports would love to thank our sponsor, Pacific Office Automation. Thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's broadcast, as well as your support of CreaTV Sports all season long. And for our viewers, perhaps with businesses, we would love to talk to you about becoming a sponsor. Please contact us at CreaTV Sports. Certainly a pleasure and privilege to bring you high school sports. Here we all feel that way at CreaTV Sports, and with businesses like Pacific Office Automation, we have that opportunity to do so. So thank you very much to them for their sponsorship. Out of the timeout, the Falcons on 3rd and 7 from their 33. High snap, but Hasso corrals it. He's got a receiver wide open and caught. And David, talk about some deception. It looked like it was Gertowski who was the intended receiver, and then Rodriguez. What a beat on the ball. I got to see this one again. Let's take a look.
I don't think he, Gertowski, I think, was waiting for the ball. It was like two outfielders going for a fly ball. Rodriguez just came out of nowhere. That was quite an interesting play, and it got him a first down, a good 12-yard gain.
And Rodriguez with the run picks up 6, so perhaps that was the spark everyone was looking for, as the quality of the play immediately improving after the timeout.
So yeah, that was that got him down the field. Maybe now we'll see a little bit of rhythm in either of these offenses.
2nd and 5 for the Falcons. And Gertowski.
That's
first down yardage and more. In fact, it takes nearly the entire defense to bring him down.
I believe that was Cortez, Rigo Cortez. And the YB defense totally fooled once again. Just allowed a huge gap right up the middle.
Oh, you're exactly right. Cortez. As all of a sudden, Hill, things are working out for the Falcons now. 1st and 10 from the 24. Hasso in trouble and still on his feet. A penalty comes in, perhaps because the referee had blown the whistle. That pink flag doesn't have the same kind of heft as the yellow. It goes up in the air and takes so long to come down, and I think that's exactly what's resulted, or what has transpired here. I think this is a personal foul against YB.
Well, it looked to me that the YB player was trying to strip Hasso of the ball, and it looked like maybe the play had just been whistled, but but he wasn't down. It's one of those kind of in between type things that I think probably didn't. Again, not to be too critical, probably didn't even need to be called. I think 15 yards is a little excessive for something like that, unless he hit his head or grabbed his face mask or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can appreciate a referee wanting to keep our, quarterback safe, for the safety of the players. It didn't certainly seem like egregious, as if this went on for a long time after the whistle. But nevertheless, after the penalty, very good result here for the Falcons in the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 12. Twin receiving set for Hasso. And the handoff. Straight ahead run. Falling across.
Cortez just short, just barely short.
I like his straight up and down running style. We've seen a number of different running backs tonight. They all seem to have a little bit different form or a little different approach to their roles tonight. 3:43 remaining in the third. It's first and goal from the 1 for Andrew Hill, which has new life after the timeout. And Hasso plunges forward for the touchdown. Touchdown, Andrew Hill.
Wow, so Hasso having a roll. That's his second touchdown run of the game. He also has a touchdown pass, and this one puts the Falcons back into the lead with 3:31 left in the third quarter. Just straight up the middle, just mano a mano. And Andrew Hill wins that battle.
Cortez for the point after.
That one never got off the ground.
No. So, point after.
Let's see if that one comes back to haunt Andrew Hill, leaving a point off the board and making it only 20-14.
Yerba Buena. Again, winless last year. Andrew Hill undefeated in league play, and these two teams, when they met, it was Andrew Hill a 65-13 victory. The Falcons qualified for the Central Coast Section Division II champions as the West Valley champions. They lost in the first round to St. Francis in a very one-sided game.
Well, you know, Andrew Hill, just going back a little history, back in 1976 and 1977 when the CCS all was one division, they made it to the semifinals. They were a real powerhouse in those days. They had players like Georgia Chica, who went on to play at USC, and Mervyn Fernandez, who went on to play for the Raiders.
Yes, I love Mervyn Fernandez.
Yeah, 2 straight years Andrew Hill made it to the CCS semis in a single division format. And so those were probably the golden age for Falcon football.
Fielded at the 20, bounces around a bit, and then, ooh, it looked like there could have been some room to run.
That was Madrigal again, just, you know, breaking tackles and pulling guys with them. And this guy has a lot of energy. I don't know how he does this play after play.
The number 8 for Andrew Hill with the tackle. That is Gertowski, whose name has been called often tonight, as Yerba Buena first and 10 for the Warriors from their own 37. Their previous drive in this quarter could be described as painful. So many penalties back and forth. But now Madrigal, a sweep around the right side, pickup of 4 at halftime. Besides the homecoming festivities, there was a field goal competition between the faculty as we take another look at the previous play. And it ended in a tie, David. And Mr. Aledo Solis, who is a math teacher here as well as the head soccer coach, and Mr. Jorge Salgado, a PE teacher, each kicked. They did not miss. They kept backing them up. They each made a 33-yard field goal, and it was proclaimed a tie since we needed to get back to this game, but it was an awful lot of fun to watch the teachers attempt to kick field goals, some with better results than the other, as once again Madrigal able to convert for a first down.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. There's some hidden talents there that I think maybe we just didn't know about. Yeah, you know, nice run here again by Madrigal, and picks up the first down, and he's already got 86 yards rushing. So with still over a quarter to play, 19 carries for 86 yards.
First and 10 for the Warriors from the 49-yard line. Guevara on the outplay has a receiver who steps out of bounds, and then penalty marker thrown by our referee.
Perhaps a late hit, roughing the passer, possibly.
And he's going to call an official timeout.
Oh. Yeah, roughing the passer. So a little bit of a break for YB after kind of being on the other end of a couple penalty calls and officials' decisions. So let's see, this will be another 15 yards. How many 15-yard penalties have we seen tonight on both teams?
I'm not sure I've seen as many this all year as we've seen tonight. And Yerba Buena, perhaps our viewers curious as why we're not calling them the Aztec Warriors. That has been what they're known for. We were informed that they have dropped the Aztec and would like to be known as the Warriors. And here they are on 1st and 10, and pass is caught, and room to run. Dropped around the 7-yard line, and once again, it's the X factor for Yerba Buena, and that's according to the opposing coach. Belman Joldich does a lot after he's caught the ball. He is hard to contain, and it's 1st and goal for Yerba Buena.
I like seeing just the response of YB coming back after giving up that go-ahead touchdown, and then all of a sudden just rolling down the field, especially with this big tackle-breaking catch and run by Joldich, bringing the Warriors inside the 10-yard line.
And we see once again Sherman Smith with the touchdown saving tackle. Guevara in trouble, and he's sacked. I believe that's the first time tonight. And again, number 8, Gurtowski, another player who does just as well on offense as on defense.
Yeah, it just seems like every time YB gets a break offensively, they move backwards, whether it's a play for a loss. Remember the fumble or the kind of the botched handoff that cost them in the previous drive in the second quarter. Penalties, whatever. It's a great opportunity for YB to draw even here, and they're moving backwards.
On 2nd and 13. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Yerba Buena.
Johnny Q.
Johnny Q for his first carry of the night. And from 13 yards out, Yerba Buena has tied this game. An extra point would give them the lead.
Oh, that was a great run there by 2. And he wasn't even touched until he was at the 5-yard line, and then he just broke through a tackle by Jesus Chuy Gomez. Couldn't hang on. And
the Warriors, the first lead of the night, 21-20, 1:10 left to go in the third quarter. The homecoming fans love it.
What a great response by YB after Andrew Hill takes the lead, and we were kind of talking about how the game was starting to get a little bit muddled and slow, and then all of a sudden 2 scores back to back, and all of a sudden it's a huge exciting ball game once again.
This is a rivalry game. Throw into the mix that last year's offensive coordinator is now the opposing team's head coach. Add in and stir that this is homecoming, and Yerba Buena with the first lead on the defending West Valley Division champs. 70 seconds again remaining in the third. Taken by the up man at the 19. Gets past a few defenders, few kick coverage, and once again, James Rodriguez, he's really having a solid night for the Hill Falcons.
Yeah, well, a lot of these guys are, and that's what's so exciting is there's a lot of weapons on both sides of the ball for both teams. And that's why this game is just so close. You know, Rodriguez here kind of, avoiding some players, getting some good yardage, probably when he could have been stopped about 15 yards earlier, sets up Andrew Hill at their own 30-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Falcons. And it's Rodriguez with the carry, maybe 3.
So all of a sudden we have a game again.
The electricity certainly has picked up in the stadium. On 2nd and 7, Hasso directing his troops as we return to live action. Hasso going to the air. Nope, puts the ball on his hip and dropped as Yerba Buena. If it's not one person making a play, it's another player like Orlando Cabrera II in on that tackle.
And he's been making big plays all night. Block, punt, touchdown catch, some big plays defensively. He's been probably one of the real unsung heroes of the game so far for the Warriors.
And that is it for the third quarter. Rivals facing off, a winless team last year facing the undefeated West Valley League champs. We've got a good one going on at Yerba Buena High School. Back with the fourth quarter. You're watching Santa Clara Valley, Blossom Valley Athletic League football on CreaTV Sports.
CreaTV San Jose would like to thank Pacific Office Automation for their generous sponsorship of our coverage of high school sports. It's because of our sponsors that CreaTV San Jose is able to cover high school sports throughout the city of San Jose.
Yerba Buena, the host team, takes a 21-20 lead. The fourth quarter up next. Kirsten Fairchild's David Kiefer. Thanks for joining us for Friday Night Football on CreaTV Sports. Next week, we return to high school volleyball, 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Make sure you tune in. It's the Oak Grove Eagles at the Santa Teresa Saints. Oak Grove versus Santa Teresa High School girls volleyball. It's been a terrific season of girls volleyball on CreaTV Sports. David, our last match between Lee and Branham went to 15-13 in set number 5. Can't ask for a more competitive game. This football game, however, up to the task on 3rd and 14. Penalty marker thrown by our referee as Smith with the catch. It's easy to spot our referee's penalty marker, as my partner tonight pointed out. It is the pink one.
Great courage there by Hasso just to get that pass off, kind of standing his ground under a heavy blindside rush, only for, they call him roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer on Yerba Buena.
Another 15-yard penalty.
Just
a gift, I guess you would say. Although that was, again, that was a pretty close play. I don't know how many steps the defender took before he got to Hasso, but it was pretty close because it seemed like he was in the motion to hit him right when he unloaded the ball.
1st and 10 for the Falcons. And despite the penalties, David, Yerba Buena's defense looks like a much different animal, if you will, here in the second half.
Yeah, when you think about what has Andrew Hill been able to do offensively, other than maybe take advantage of some penalties and the odd run here and there by Rigo Cortez, that's about it.
So we've seen from Hill all night a no-huddle offense, yet here they are huddling up indeed on 2nd and 7. Hasso sends Smith in motion, high snap, but he corrals it, tries to escape the defender. He's in trouble, and Yerba Buena better stop playing after that whistle is blown. They've already suffered a penalty because of it. I don't know, I think tackling Hasso is a very tall task.
Yeah, you know, the snaps have really been high all night, and that's been a problem. Not only have they been high, but they've been really slow, and so it takes time. He has to, the defense is already coming off the line of scrimmage while Hasso's still waiting for the ball. And I think that's been a problem with the timing for the Falcons, especially in the second half.
Another high snap on 3rd and 14. Perfectly thrown ball, caught. Hill bails themselves out of trouble once again as the connection between Hasso and Gomez appears to be working just fine, thank you very much. Hill in Yerba Buena territory.
Yeah, just a nice slant pattern by Gomez, and just a perfectly thrown ball by Hasso. That was big play. Taking advantage of the opportunities of these penalties on YB to kind of kickstart the offense.
Smith trying to get around the end, and he's out of bounds in his own sideline. Some scores from around the area. Sacred Heart Prep, what a season they've been having. Appearance in the state championship game last year, and they late in the game a 34-7 lead over Sequoia. Leland has scored back, trailing Leland 31-19 midway through the fourth quarter. Wilcox now up Milpitas up 28-0 over Wilcox. I think many folks thought that would be a stiffer test for Milpitas, and that's pretty much the scores, the updates we have now. But we've got a good one right here as Hill trailing by 1. 3rd and about 3 for the Falcons.
I don't recall how good the kicker is for, that was Cortez, I guess, the kicker, and I know he had that problem on the extra point. If they do come to a field goal situation, I wonder how confident they would be to putting him out there to try to get them a lead if it's, say, maybe a 30-yard kick or something like that.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. He certainly has, with the exception of the missed extra point, which was not his fault. That was a fault between the, I believe, with the holder getting the ball down for him.
Yeah, he never really had a chance on that
Yeah,
one.
Absolutely. It wasn't as if the kick was executed in any matter, as we have another penalty offsides on Yerba Buena. So again, these penalties seem to be particularly painful.
Especially because it gives them a first down on when they had a 3rd down situation. Andrew Hill was facing 3rd and 3, and all of a sudden they get a gift offside penalty for a first down at the 33-yard line.
Certainly tough for Coach Marco Asuna in his 3rd year at Yerba Buena. He teaches engineering design for freshmen through senior, all 4 grades here at Yerba Buena. More on his background after this play. Hasso, another high snap, and Yerba Buena looking to take advantage, but Hasso at least picking up, regaining some more yardage. And just back quickly to Coach Asuna, teaching engineering design, and he and his classes, David, they have built 2 hybrid racing carts and 3 electric carts. He is a Mount Eden High graduate where he played defensive end. He got both his bachelor's and master's in engineering from San Jose State. And just what an opportunity here at the school to have a teacher with his background and get to be able to build go-karts.
Yeah, that must be so much fun for these students to be able to take part in something like that, and great opportunities for the future and future interests. Maybe it'll spark something in for future careers.
Absolutely. On 2nd and 14, Hasso obviously hurried, and now another flag thrown. That pass well short, and these Yerba Buena players showing some frustration as our referee, again, it's so easy to spot which flag is his. It is the pink one, I'm sure, in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Are they, well, let's see the signal, but I wonder if the officials are calling another late hit. And again, these high snaps are really causing problems for Andrew Hill, just the timing and the whole thing, but curious to see what developed here.
Personal foul against Andrew Hill. So we saw the signs of frustration for Yerba Buena. I'm not sure exactly, perhaps it appeared that where the referee was in position that Hasso might have been guilty of that. Of course, we have no way of knowing. And Hill trailing by 1, plenty of time left, 8:28 remaining in regulation, but certainly not the direction Hill wanted to go. David, is this got to be close to 2nd and 30?
Yeah, yeah. This is yeah. So I think that's what exactly it is. It's 2nd and 30. You know, and they had already Andrew Hill had gotten as far as the 33-yard line of YB.
Yerba Buena brings the pressure, but Hasso doesn't even wait, takes off. Fans love it as Hasso trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but well short. And actually, this is 4th down. So 4th down, and it looks like it's going to be a punt from Andrew Hill. Now, we had been told Jesus Gomez, as we take another look, is the punter, but it looks as if Cortez will punt.
And look again, he's only 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Better result for Hill, and fumbled.
I don't know if that was muffed again by, no, different player this time. So this was 2 on that one rather than before. I think we saw Joldich muff a kick.
Yeah, 2 who had the score, and you see how close Hill was to recovering that. So Yerba Buena, 7:37 remaining in regulation. The Warriors to have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 18-yard line, playing with a 1-point lead here in front of a entertained homecoming crowd. Guevara rolling to his left, and the right-hander delivers wide open, and the pass is caught by Joldich once again.
I think this would be the stage of a game where, say, in a conventional offense, you would just start running the ball. If you were Stanford 5 or 6 years ago, you give it to Toby Gerhardt every play and just let him get 3 or 4 yards every play. This is where you want to just move the chains, use a lot of the clock, and hopefully get some points at the end. But I think the main thing is you just want to protect your lead and just keep the ball and keep it away from Andrew Hill and use as much clock as possible.
Excellent point. As that done, was that Madrigal once again,
Yeah.
and again whistles blowing. Andrew Hill's head coach, again his first year as a head coach. He had a number of stints as the JV head coach with San Jose High School, which is his alma mater. Also at Prospect High School and Independence High School. And in fact, as timeout on the field, going to have a measurement, just kind of wrapping things up regarding Javier Guerrera as the head coach at San Jose High School. He was a defensive tackle and offensive tackle, and when he was at San Jose High from 1976 to 1980, every year San Jose beat Lincoln in the Big Bone game, and he made sure to mention that all 4 years he was at San Jose High. Obviously didn't play in varsity all 4 years, but all 4 years his team victorious.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time that San Jose High beat Lincoln in the Big Bone game. And
I think it was just a couple of years ago when they had that terrific season. Or no, you know what? They lost that because they had injured. We were covered that game on CreaTV Sports. Their final league game, they had lost. In fact, an ambulance had to be called. I remember they'd lost some key players to injury, and they had believed that was going to be the year they were going to, because they don't go to CCS, they elect to play in the Big Bone game, and you're exactly right, it did not turn out for San Jose High.
Have to go back to the 80s, I think. I'd have, before San Jose has last won that game.
The inside handoff, first down yardage and more. And there's that burst of speed. We haven't seen it too often tonight because Hill has done a good job containing Madrigal, but once again he's able to break loose.
Well, I mean, the 7-yard gain there, that puts him at 94 yards on the night, and plus keeps that clock moving.
Nearing the 6-minute mark. First down for Yerba Buena. Guevara rolling to his right. On the out pass, Ball is caught, and it's Jimmy Nooch. Now, the 5'9", 165-pound junior Nooch has rushed in 3 games for 222 yards. He has scored 32 points this season. He has, coming into this game, 32 tackles, 5 sacks, back again on offense, 143 yards receiving. And David, it was never clear with us from the coach why only 3 games was he rushing. Was he one of the running backs for 222 yards? Did they need him on defense? Was he not available? We've seen very little from him at the running back position tonight. Or is it that Madrigal has stepped forward as a candidate? We're having an administrator asking our festive crowd to stop blowing noisemakers, which is a CCS rule. And Guevara high but caught. And what a terrific play by Cabrera.
He's been just all over the place tonight, really making some big plays, because I think if he didn't catch that ball, I think it would have been intercepted.
I agree. There was plenty of white jerseys in the vicinity, and that looked high, but Cabrera went right up after it. So 1st and 10 in Hill territory as the clock continues to tick down, but again, plenty of time left, 5:43. If Hill can come up with a stop here or force a turnover.
But look at the clock. They've already used up 2 minutes, picking up the first downs, keeping those chains moving, and Madrigal is doing his part, keeping that clock running.
You wonder at some point, David, Hill with so many two-way players and so many limited options as far as substitutes, if this is a weariness now here, even with all the penalties, I think it brings an element of fatigue, mental fatigue, into the game with all the stops and starts and no true flow to the game. Yeah,
I think that's definitely would be the case. And, we haven't heard too much from Julian Chambliss, Hill's 6'5", 360-pound nose guard. He hasn't. Might be time for him to make a play or two as well.
Well, I think the battle in the trenches has been something else, as Yerba Buena calls a timeout, 4:47 remaining. Yerba Buena calls a timeout on 2nd and 6 from the Hill 44, and you are exactly right. There are some big boys up front for Andrew Hill. Only one senior, though, on the line. The future is looking bright for Hill, as they really had some key players exit and, again, elect to transfer to other schools, given the fact that a head coach was not hired till the end of July.
Yeah, it's amazing how, a team can come together so quickly, even with all these barriers kind of put in their path. But I think Andrew Hill's really represented themselves very well. Given the circumstances, their small roster, like we were talking about, just the effort that the Falcons have put together tonight, the heart that they've shown, it's been really impressive.
Yes, exactly. And I think if you look and see, this team went undefeated last year. Why is this program in such shape? And again, the head coach exited, the athletic director exited, and I think it really left those key players wondering what kind of a program they were going to have, and if they had the opportunity to transfer out and potentially play at the next level, I think they felt compelled to do so. So the failed pass out of the timeout, the attempt by Guevara.
If I could jump in, I don't understand why they're running. I know it's part of the offense, but why not just give it to Madrigal on maybe a couple runs in a row and see what he can do? He seems to be picking up 5 or 6 yards at a time. So now you've stopped the clock again. A running play would have allowed 30-40 seconds to run off the clock.
I agree with you, as 3 receivers outright for Guevara in the.
And now they're forced to probably throw again because of that previous incompletion.
Guevara, and that batted down.
So I think if YB had run the ball on the previous play, then they would have run the clock off. They wouldn't have been put into a 3rd and long situation where they would have to throw once again, and all of a sudden there's still 4:38 left on the clock. After the timeout, they used, what, maybe 10 seconds at the most.
Well, and Joel Maciel, the punter, was sent out on the field by Osuna. Guevara is out there as well. So I'm not sure Hill realizes that this is potentially a punt, as Maciel, Smith now racing back. And no, they're going to run a fake punt as Guevara with room to run, and Guevara with the first down. So a fake punt executed well by Yerba Buena. It looked as if some players from Andrew Hill recognized what was happening, but it was as if they had froze.
Yeah, but I really like the move that Guevara put on. Look, he was it was probably iffy whether he would have gotten to that first down mark or not, but then he cut inside and gained about 5 more yards, and that was enough for him to pick up that crucial first down.
And did the Hill defender think that another player had the ball?
I don't know. I think the Hill defender was looking more for making a big hit on somebody rather than making the tackle.
Madrigal pursued laterally by Hill as nearing the 4-minute mark again.
But you know what? Keep running the ball if you can. I know they lost a couple of yards, but I think the clock is probably the bigger factor here. I know rather than maybe throw it on 3rd down or something like that if you really want to, but let's get a couple runs in and use up the clock if you're the Warriors.
Hasso in on the tackle. He may be a Falcon, but he's played as a Warrior tonight out on the field in terms of effort and leadership. 2nd and 13, 3:29 left to go. Hill needs a stop. As room to run, Smith comes up to make the tackle. And
they read that one
east to west running.
Yeah, they read. Andrew Hill read that one pretty well. But again, he only gained a yard, but they've run a minute off the clock because of those 2 runs. And I don't know if it remains to be seen if YB ends up punting kind of the field position battle, what Andrew Hill might be left with if they do get the ball back.
3rd and 12, 2:47 left to go. Guevara rolling to his right, has a receiver, and the ball bounced off his hands, but the penalty marker thrown by our referee. And that score, Milpitas at Wilcox is the final. Milpitas 28-0.
So I don't know if this was a holding call possibly, or remains to be seen, but I would think that Andrew Hill would decline it.
And it is exactly that. And Sherman Smith went over. It looks like it was declined.
They never, now he's, I think, going to signal that they declined it.
4th and 12. We've seen some magic worked by Yerba Buena before. The crowd here would like to see a little more. 3 receivers outright for Guevara. Guevara looking to his left, rolling, and he is dropped. Andrew Hill will take over at the 35-yard line, 2:32 remaining in the game. After 3 quarters, Willow Glen leading Oak Grove 34-33. Sounds like another competitive game.
And Oak Grove is coached by former YB head coach Jay Braun. I don't understand why YB did not punt there. I just don't understand. I mean, look at now, you get great field position for Andrew Hill at the 35-yard line when even a lousy punt would have moved the ball at least 20 yards further downfield.
And a huge hit laid, and that is the player that we haven't called that often tonight, despite a terrific season for Jorge Mota. He introduced himself in quite a fashion.
Was that Giovanni Parra? on that one?
I
that hit
thought it
number
was
23?
Mota
Let's
for
see.
sure. No, that's Mota.
Okay, yeah, so that was, yeah, you're right. What a hit.
Second and 10. Hasso under pressure. Going downfield, he's got a player wide open and caught. Hasso, it has not been easy for him. It has not been perfect from him, but when it's been good, it's been very, very good.
Well, that was beautiful, and it was. It looked like James Rodriguez. There was nobody on him. Nobody seemed to pay attention to him as he came out from that left side down the sideline.
You can't make a better target.
No, and look, all of a sudden now the time doesn't seem to be a factor. About 2:15 left, and the ball's on the 33-yard line for YB.
And Yerba Buena trying to bring down Hasso. Look at the determination by Hasso. It's like a rolling wrecking ball.
Wow, that's effort. And Hasso, the previous play was a 32-yard gain.
And we're going to have a timeout on the field. Yerba Buena calls a timeout. Under 2 minutes to go, 1:58 on the clock, as Yerba Buena quickly seeing their potential lead slip away here as they're under threat from the Falcons.
Yeah, this is that was a huge play, and I think, you know, at this point now, with 1:58 left, the clock ceases to be a factor. I think Hill can pretty much do whatever they want without really worrying about time.
Well, and they have at least 2 timeouts remaining, if not their full slate. We have had a number of timeouts in the third, and Yerba Buena burning one there, but Coach Osuna obviously having determined he needed to talk to his team and perhaps quell the momentum of Andrew Hill. On 2nd and 5, Hasso again under threat, and this time he is dropped.
That could end up being a huge play for YB. Pretty much party in the backfield for the YB Warriors.
And I guess we have a timeout called by Hill as the coaching staff is out on the field. So at 1:48, Hill calls a timeout. It'll be 3rd and 11. 3rd and 11 for Andrew Hill when we return from the timeout. In the meantime, thank you so much, Pacific Office Automation, for your support of this broadcast. We would be unable to bring you high school sports on CreaTV Sports without businesses like Pacific Office Automation. Thank you for your support of this game, this broadcast, and all season long. We certainly appreciate your efforts toward allowing us to bring you high school sports. Again, next week we return to the gym, this time Santa Teresa, as the Santa Teresa Saints host the Oak Grove Eagles and high school girls volleyball. David and I will be back for more live at 6 p.m., a 6 p.m. start Tuesday, October 28th, high school volleyball. And it looks as if the Yerba Buena Warriors were offsides after the timeout.
Well, I was going to say that, before YB looks like they shot themselves in the foot again by giving more opportunities to Andrew Hill. They had 7 sacks. They've had 7 sacks tonight for a total of 47 yards in losses. So big night by the pass rush for YB. But again, some opportunities here for Andrew Hill.
Hill on 3rd and long, and again you just see how these big hits, and it's good to see Hill receiver James Rodriguez pop right back up. I mean, David, this is across the field from us, and we can hear these thwomps from here.
Well, he had Rodriguez open. I thought Rodriguez was going to make the play on it, but looked like a big pass breakup by number 20, Damon Evans, that really saved a first down and possibly the game, because Andrew Hill is back to a 4th down situation right now.
1:41 remaining, 4th and 6. Is this the determining factor of the game? Look at the catch penalty marker comes in. What concentration by Jesus Gomez.
Well, he made the catch despite being interfered with. I'm sure that's what the penalty is going to be called. But Gomez made the play anyway, and it's a first down for Andrew Hill.
Let's take another look.
Just fought off the defender. Ruby Ramos on that play. Moves the ball all the way to the 14-yard line, so a 15-yard pickup and a first down on a 4th and 6 with 1:35 left in the game.
Still waiting for our referee. As he is conferring.
I think he's just trying to tell them where they would get the ball if they got it on the penalty or something like that, which doesn't make any sense because Hill would decline it anyway. I think either way we're going to see Andrew Hill inside the 15-yard line.
And even though the referee is standing with the team, one of his official is going over to the head coach. Palma has taken a 21-14 lead over Salinas. Those are two teams, Salinas, Monterey, Palma, having exceptional years down in the Monterey Bay Area. Still waiting.
Pass interference declined. Okay, they
declined.
Took a while to figure that one out, but I think is what we figured was going to happen the entire time.
Monte Vista Christian leading Gilroy by a score of 21-13. A minute 35, 95, or a minute 35 left to go as Hasso looking for an open receiver. Hasso running a long way, chewing up a lot of clock, still on his feet, and then stumbles. I mean, the effort by Hasso. However, he puts it on his hip, David, and stopped looking downfield, although he had not crossed the line of scrimmage. And I just think that stumble just speaks to his efforts out here on the field tonight. As we're in the highlight, we may have to come out of this as we return to live action here. Hasso, pump fake, puts it on his hip, going the wrong way, and the penalty marker comes in. David, I'm not sure if we cannot hear the whistles blowing.
I think he's going to get him for a face mask on this play. I believe that the defender, yep.
Okay, our first face mask call of the night. A little difficult to believe with all the
But then
penalties.
Look at, it's going to be a gift. It's going to be the ball at about probably half the distance, so it's going to be about the 5-yard line.
Look at Hasso, if we can get a shot of him on the 25-yard line. Now it just bent over, huffing and puffing, and Yerba Buena is going to have to come up with a defensive stand here. 46 ticks of the clock remaining.
That was look at the gifts that YB is giving them. That was a great defensive play. He didn't even have to put his hand on the face mask.
It's showing 2nd and 5 on 2nd and 5. Hasso trying to follow his blocker, get around the end, drag down. Another penalty marker comes in.
I think we're going to get a horse collar tackle on YB.
Well, Hasso has shown he's difficult to bring down. Certainly doesn't excuse this kind of tackling or any kind of face mask whatsoever, but will he stiff-armed in the face? Let's see, and this did go against Hill, David. The penalty goes against Hill.
Oh, that's...
I'm not sure he actually grabbed on. So Yerba Buena, boy, talk about... Here we are, 32 seconds remaining. It seems as if the penalties are determining how this game perhaps will conclude, although in this case, obviously these penalties are certainly warranted. As Hasso turns around, looks at the scoreboard, 2nd and 9. Hasso going to the end zone, in traffic, broken up. Smith looked like he might have been able to bring that down.
I think that was Johnny Two again who broke up the pass. It looked like it was.
He's got a big smile on his face.
Yeah,
David.
I think Sherman Smith was open. And Hasso just let him jump for it, but that was dangerous too on Two's place because he was not facing the ball. He could have been called for face guarding, but I think the timing was just right on that play.
3rd and 9. Ball is on the 14-yard line. There are 19 seconds remaining. Hill with the ball, trailing by 1. They do have timeouts, and on the slant, broken up once again. The coverage by the secondary has been terrific. Damon Evans, and out comes the field goal unit. Not sure if the fans here on the YB side realized this was an option, but now with 14 seconds remaining, this would be a 31-yard attempt, and the kicker, is that Rigo Cortez?
Yeah, it'd be a 30-yard attempt. Rigo Cortez will be a 30-yard try with 14 seconds left on 4th down.
For the win. Although there will be time left and penalties come in. It looked like Hill might have had too many players on the field. Cortez cannot believe it.
Too much time. I think it was too much time, delay of game.
Well, I think they had to get that player off the field. This makes it more interesting. I tell you, it's near pandemonium on the Yerba Buena side. People are just jumping up and down from all the excitement. Again, 14 seconds remaining.
35-yard try. This makes a little bit of difference.
From the left hash mark, the right-footed kicker, and penalty markers. I don't know if you heard through our mics, young man saying,
was it
so excited.
Encroachment? Maybe they were, YB was in the neutral zone, possibly?
Yerba Buena's penalties.
Is that going to make a difference? Back to a 30-yard attempt?
We're just crossing off 30-yard field goal attempt, 35-yard field goal attempt. Again, the clock has not moved, 14 seconds remaining. As Cortez, maybe a little prayer said by him, for the win. Here comes the rush. It's blocked. It's blocked by Yerba Buena. I was waiting for a penalty to see if the guys coming off the end had encroached. Yerba Buena with the block. There are no penalty markers on the field, and Andrew Hill is dejected. 3 seconds remaining, however.
I think there was two things there. One, I think YB was offsides. It was just not called. Secondly, Cabrera, I believe, was the one who blocked that kick. He blocked that punt earlier in the game that really brought YB back, and I think he's the one who had the block there on the potential game-winning field goal. Orlando Cabrera has been huge tonight. 2 kick blocks.
Yerba Buena's going to come out and take a knee. And when we can, we are going to bring a replay of that field goal. Let's take a look. That, of course, is the close-up we had. I'm not sure if we had a wide shot of showing the YB players coming off the end, but again, you're right, Cabrera, as this is going to be a tough pill for Hill to swallow. The defending champs losing to a team that went winless a year ago. Their rivals, Yerba Buena, a blocked field goal decides it. The Warriors 21-20 over Hill at home tonight.
What a game. Gosh, an incredible game between two rival teams, back and forth. 14-0 lead for Andrew Hill. YB comes back. Andrew Hill takes the lead again. YB comes back, takes the lead. Andrew Hill has a chance to win it in the final seconds. The kick is blocked by a guy who already had a block kick that was key for YB's comeback. It's just an amazing story for two teams that I think really, we talked about Andrew Hill's heart. I think YB did the same with an incredible performance by its secondary when Andrew Hill was knocking on the door and was attempting to win the game with some passes into the end zone to receivers that looked like they were open, but YB players broke up several passes, forced the field goal attempt, and then blocked it. Just an amazing performance by both teams.
Yerba Buena fans, last year must have been so tough. 0-10, 0-7 in league. The defending champs come in, and Yerba Buena, with a sigh of relief, I'm sure, a 21-20 victory. One thing that was certainly even out on this field tonight, the amount of heart and want and intensity both teams played with tonight. A heartbreaking loss, I am sure, for Andrew Hill, which moves to 2-5 overall, 1-3 in league, and the sweetest of victories for Yerba Buena, 3-4 overall, 2-2 in league. We're going to step away, collect our thoughts, look at our highlights, and return with the CreaTV Sports post-game show. Yerba Buena 21-20 over Andrew Hill in East San Jose tonight. TV Sports for the post-game show. Jose Hasso in from 1 yard out for Andrew Hill, and that broke the 14-14 tie. Hasso, a big night for him. A lot of frustration as well, but boy, could he throw when in trouble. And
yeah, that's what Andrew Hill was able to put together a 14-0 lead in the first half, and then Madrigal, who ended up having 96 yards rushing, started to bring YB back with a 1 yard run that made it 14-7. And then here Guevara passed to Cabrera, who would end up being the hero of the game. Cabrera breaking the tackle and then also tight roping down the sidelines to tie the game at 14-14. Andrew Hill was able to respond by taking the lead in the third quarter on a 1 yard run by Hasso, but they missed the extra point, and that turned out to be huge because of this play by Johnny 2, a 13-yard run. YB made the extra point by Rafael Verduzco, but then at the end, Andrew Hill had a chance to win, and Cabrera, who earlier had a punt block and a touchdown catch, blocks the potentially decisive field goal attempt, and YB gets the victory.
And we did not have the camera on the shot to show if there was offsides by YB on that play. Both you and I guess we will say we thought so, but in a game that was just littered with yellow and pink hankies on the field, quite a bit of laundry, to have a no call perhaps come into play, I think a bitter pill for Andrew Hill to swallow.
Yeah, but there's so many gifts on both sides of the ball. I think both teams had great opportunities to win, and I think Andrew Hill will probably look back on the incomplete passes probably more than any potential call that wasn't made.
Well, and also I think they have to look back and see how fatigued Hasso was at the end. You really have to credit Yerba Buena's pressure, their blitzing, that really proved problematic. That said, however, Hasso was just pulling some rabbits out of the hat. I mean, his passes under pressure on the money are some of the best throws I've seen all season long.
Yeah, he threw for 136 yards, but was sacked 7 times. But I think it was just his effort on running plays, passing plays. I think the team depended so much on him that you saw him at the end of the game and he could barely get up.
With fans on the field, the jumping jacks by Yerba Buena. Again, what a difference a season makes. Andrew Hill last year, undefeated league champs. The winless Yerba Buena team must have been such a struggle for the program. Certainly enjoying this hard-fought victory tonight. David, the fans really showed up, and the Warriors gave them something to cheer about.
Well, it was a great atmosphere here. It was incredible school spirit. The crowd was loud, sometimes even too loud for the officials with some of the noisemakers, but it was just a wonderful atmosphere, a great game, and despite mistakes here and there, it was really a game to remember, especially for YB.
A big thanks to everyone here at Yerba Buena High School for their hospitality, especially the folks up here in the press box. On behalf of the entire CreaTV sports crew, including my partner tonight, David Kiefer, I'm Kirsten Fairchild. Please watch the names on your screen. These are the folks who worked so hard to make it happen. Yerba Buena, what a victory on homecoming night. The Warriors beating Andrew Hill, the defending champs, 21-20 in a nail-biter. We'll see you next week for high school girls volleyball. Good night, everyone.